Hey, my friends, Mike Shreve here, and welcome to the very first of our new daily Facebook Lives. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're just testing some stuff out, trying to have a good time. My goal is to, let me pull all this stuff up. My goal is actually to go live every single day in 2018. I'll talk a little bit about why that is, but I'm hopefully gonna give you daily trainings. We've got all kinds of cool stuff planned, some interviews, some Q&As, all that kind of good stuff. This is the first one starting on January 1. They normally probably aren't going to be this late in the afternoon. But this one is because we just got back from Grandma and Grandpa's house. So the kids are downstairs watching a show. I'm up here. We're going to be teaching you a few things. In this video in particular, I want to give you 3 strategies for making sure that this year is actually the best, most profitable, most enjoyable year you've ever had as a freelancer, whether you are currently freelancing or whether it's something that you're just starting. Now, where these ideas are coming from is, as you know, I've got the No Pants Project, I've got Fast Client Getting Workshop, I've got some private coaching clients, I have private clients that I work with, I have my freelancing business. I'm noticing a disturbing trend in how freelancers are approaching freelancing. If you have been online and you're seeing all the ads going everywhere of this is the promised way to do this, and this is the, and there's just all these different distractions everywhere you turn, it's very likely that you as a freelancer are going into 2018 with some really big goals, and you are about to become very susceptible to distraction. That's the process of growth, right? So you say, I want to go this way. You take that first step, and then it's like 50 things can distract you. In my own No Pants Project coaching program, and yes, students, if you're watching this, I'm looking at you. I am seeing at this time of year an increase in what I believe is that people feel like they need to do more. Like, I need to not try to do one freelancing business that's a service-based business that helps one specific pain point, that has a service ladder of different services that help that single pain point. But instead, what I need to do is have 5 businesses, and I need to do this over here and that over here and this over here. And I understand that. I get that. It's part of this time of year when everywhere you turn online, it's just like, what are your big goals? And how come you only have one goal? And there's a lot of money to be made in making you feel like you need to have a huge, complex, bigger goal than what you already have. So today's video is 3 ways to help you get focus. Because focus is the only way that you will achieve any goal, much less all of your goals, okay? So if you want 2018 to be your best year ever, the word of the year is going to be focus. Now, let me, excuse me. Let me give you these 3 tips. The first is that you must learn to say no. No is the most powerful and productive word there is. No to opportunities. Look, here's the thing. When you start to go on your freelancing business, opportunities that you maybe had not seen before you had ever considered going out on your own, you're kind of like, well, I can get a job and that's about it. But once you realize that, like, oh, I can start my own business, I can kind of do whatever I want to do. As your brain starts to actually process that and realize that, you start to see opportunities everywhere. It's something I talk about called the reticulating activating system. It's when you buy a red car, now all you see are red cars, right? That can be very distracting if you've not spent a lot of time building your own business. It can be like, there's an opportunity, there's an opportunity, there's an opportunity. The key for you to make any forward progress, instead of bouncing to and fro and going back and forth, the key to forward progress is learning to say no. Now, what are we saying no to? Here's how I sort of break it down. There are goals that I want with every fiber of my being, 100%. And then there are a ton of goals that I want with maybe 80%, or maybe 80, or maybe 90% of my being. I think that'd be really, 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 really cool, but it's not the thing that I want. What I encourage you guys to do in 2018 is to say no to everything except for the 100 percenters. So for me, a 100 percenter is lifestyle. That's super important to me. I need to say no to every other opportunity. Ever since I started No Pants Project, the opportunities for me to go public speaking and go on these tours and fly and travel, they come in all the time. But I have to continue to say no, because lifestyle is the 100% thing that I'm just like, that I must have. The subset of lifestyle for me is family, right? That is the thing that I know 100% I must have in my business. No ands, ifs, or buts. Okay. Now, what's an 80% goal? Well, like a speaking engagement. Holy cow, you're going to pay me $10,000 to come give a speech? Well, that's interesting, but I kind of, I'll have to leave my family. And in the past, I would have said absolutely yes to that. And that's why I used to work myself to the bone. Crazy, crazy hours. And that's a habit that you have to break. So learn how to say no to everything that isn't your 100% goal. And that includes business opportunities. It includes people, okay? We waste a lot of time, you and I do say we waste a lot of time on people who we aren't 100% about. For me, that's often wasting a lot of time on people who are time vampires in my various businesses, meaning they have no intention on ever buying anything from me. They feel entitled to my time. They are disrespectful. They are like, those people do crop up in businesses. I, in the past, but I won't in 2018, spent a lot of time on those people. And it's wasted time. It's time that is taken away from the core group, your 100 percenters, my customers, my private clients, my family, my friends, okay? So learning to say no to all of those other people is really, really important. I want to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Think about a waitress in a restaurant, or a waiter in a restaurant. Inside the restaurant are paying customers. Outside the restaurant are people just going by, passing through. Maybe they look at the menu on the outside. The outside of the restaurant's beautiful and that's wonderful. But the waiter and the waitress doesn't give thought to the people outside of the restaurant. That's what I want you guys to do in 2018. It's what I'm working very, very hard on myself in 2018. Why? Focus. Focus, focus, focus. Too many new freelancers put too much time and energy and concern and worry and stress about all the people outside of the restaurant and not enough on the people that are inside their restaurant already. We're going to talk a lot about those kinds of strategies coming up this year. Again, I'm going to be live every single day, so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But this is just to help you get prepped for the year. Focus and learning to say no is going to be a big theme this year, okay? The flip side of this, so for those of you who are like, Mike, I'm not really good at saying no. I don't want to say no. Do you have any other recommendations for saying no? And my answer is no. If you're in a position right now where you just feel like too much stuff is happening, I'm going to say that you said yes to a lot of that stuff. Maybe not all of it, but a lot of that stuff you said yes to, which is why it is in your lap right now. My goal in 2018 is to help you to say no. Okay, that's number one. Number two is it's the time of the year where we're talking about goal setting. I don't want you to make the mistake that so many people make, and it is you set a really big goal and then you say, tomorrow I'm going to start. Start what? Start where? Start how? What do you mean you want to make $100,000 this year? How? How are you going to do that? One of the things that we often skip when we set our goals, and whether you set your goals now or you set your goals every month, I set my goals every time I feel stuck. So sometimes that's 6 times in a month. Sometimes that's twice in a day. Sometimes that's every couple months. I set goals every time I feel stuck. And I've learned that the best way to actually make progress on the goals is to take whatever that thing is and break it down into 1 or 2 daily actions that you can take, that you consistently take, okay? So let's say that you wanted to make $100,000 a year as a freelancer. How could you break that down? into 2 or 3 consistent actions or activities that you could do every single day. Well, if you're in our No Pants Project coaching program, what I teach is to spend a couple of minutes a day getting traffic, and then spend a couple of minutes a day and taking that traffic and putting it into your email list, and then spending a couple of minutes a day writing a daily email. Now, if that's all you focus on and you break it down to every day, I know I need to do this thing, you will develop a habit. Just like this Facebook Live. Right now, this particular Facebook Live, this first one that we're doing, where I'm going to be doing it every single day, this one's hard. I had like 100 million different excuses why I shouldn't jump on right now to do this. I don't have a haircut, my face is scraggly, I look tired because we just were at grandma's house, which means we didn't get any sleep, right? But I know in 7 days and 14 days and 21 days is typically about the range that it takes to create a new habit. This is going to be easy. It's not going to feel like anything. It's not going to feel like work. It's going to turn into flow. I'll enjoy showing up to do Facebook Lives. The Facebook Lives will get better. And the goal that I have set, which is a big goal up here, that I've broken down to the daily action I need to take is Facebook Lives, I will be able to achieve more easily because the process to getting that goal is and will be automatic, right? So being able to set yourself up to basically get automatic success is a matter of taking whatever it is you're trying to do and breaking it down into daily actions. The rest of this year, we're going to talk about that. Talk about taking big, crazy things and crunching them down into daily, consistent action. That doesn't take all day, doesn't take half a day. It's just literally show up for a couple minutes. Put your best effort in for a couple minutes, okay? So that's tip number 2 for focus, because now you're not like, okay, I got to go over here and learn this new method and that new method, and here's this other thing, and someone else told me I need to do this. You make the decision now. You say, this is how I'm going to get to the goal. Here's the daily action that I take, and then you start taking that daily action. Nothing's going to distract me from Facebook Live. Nothing has distracted me from sending my daily emails for almost 7 years because I made that decision, because I looked to my mentors and they told me how to get to that certain level, and I just have been sending out my daily email for 7 years now, right? This is why, like in the Fast Client Getting Workshop, which is another program of mine, in the No Pants Project, that's why my programs are kind of boring. They're not very sexy. They're not very cool. It's literally like, do a thing, do it every day, because that's how you get to where how you get to where you want to go. Okay? So that's number 2. Number 1 was learn to say no. Number 2 is reverse engineer whatever your goal is and break it down into daily habits. Okay. Now, here's the final thing that I want to talk to you about and encourage you this year to make sure that 2018 is your best year ever. And it's this simple. I want you to practice in public. See, too many of us get in our own heads. If you are part of my community, you have a high likelihood that you are an introvert. And introverts, they spend a lot of time inside their heads instead of being out like I'm doing right now with this Facebook Live and probably looking like a total idiot, right? But the thing is, practicing in public is the fastest way to do a couple of things. One is to achieve mastery. And I want you guys, if you have a chance to read either one of these books, read both if you're like me and you're obsessed with the idea of what does it take to be really, really good at something. For me, it's the mastery of writing. It's the mastery of communication. It's the mastery of the fiction that I do. I'm obsessed with how do you master a craft? Not for the praise, not for the money, but like, how do you be so good at something that you can do whatever is in your head and like it comes out in like better than you even thought of it in your head, right? So Robert Greene has a really good book called Mastery. And Anders Ericsson is actually the guy that Malcolm Gladwell takes the 10,000 hour rule from. So Peak, Secrets from the New Science of Expertise, is actually takes that 10,000 hour rule idea that we've all heard of from Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours of practice, and actually breaks it apart. And there's some surprising findings in here in what 10,000 hours of practice actually means. It's this thing called deliberate practice, which is something that is sort of skipped over in the Malcolm Gladwell book Outliers, which is where the 10,000 hour rule is first sort of brought to the public's attention. There's this thing called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is a different kind of practice. One of the ways that you can do deliberate practice is to open that practice up to feedback and criticism. Now, that is frightening for most of us introverts. However, if you are like me and you want to reap the benefits of mastery, which is autonomy. If you've ever read the book So Good They Can't Ignore You, you know that as you develop skills, you gain autonomy. Autonomy is control, both what you can control of how much you charge, but also control over your life, control over who you work with. That is a byproduct of mastery. And if you're like me and that's sort of like what you're trying to do and you're trying to go for, I highly recommend that in 2018, you commit to practicing in public. I'm doing it here with Facebook Lives, okay? Come into our open community. Come into the Facebook open community. Join one of our programs. They are very specific and strategic areas for people to practice in public, still being in a safe environment, right? So this Facebook Live that I'm doing, this is open to anybody. The last time we did a Facebook Live, there were some crazy trolls on here, right? I don't even know if there are any on right here because I decided I ain't gonna look while I do these anymore. But that, opening yourself up to that, it puts your brain, it's almost like knocking the dust off of your brain and you're able to see different things. You're able to be put in positions where you really have to test yourself, where you really have to think things through. And is this really what I believe? Is this really how I want to? My recommendation is in 2018 to maintain focus, learn to say no, reverse engineer a big goal and break it down into daily habits. And then lastly, commit to practicing in public. Okay? Look, you guys, these first couple of Facebook Lives, in 6 months, I'm going to look back and laugh at how terrible they are. I know that. But the only way to get to 6 months where they're that much better is to first go through the not good parts. So I'm going to be here with you guys, committed to learning to say no, committed to reverse engineering my bigger goals and breaking them down into daily habits. And then lastly, I'm committing to practicing in public. I hope that you will join me in these dailies. What times they occur is kind of going to be up in the air until I can get into a habit of doing it. But for now, it's just going to kind of be come and go as we please. I love, love, love to hear from you. Your feedback is always welcome. I'm practicing in public so that I can get really, really good at these very, very quickly. I just want you guys to know that I love you very much. I love the No Pants community. It's been such a fun last 5-6 months that we've been around. I cannot wait for 2018. It's going to be super fun. If you'd like to get these kinds of things sent to your inbox every single day, somewhere around here there is a link for you to sign up for my anti-commodity formula, which is basically a way to frame yourself as a service provider so that you don't have to compete on low prices. It's yours free, and that will get you onto the email list where I send my daily email, which a lot of people really, really enjoy. Okay, my friends, so that's it for our first Facebook Live. Here we go. I didn't even think of what to say in a conclusion other than I love you guys, and I cannot wait to see you until tomorrow when we do this all over again.